What if the most loving and devoted person in your life was actually a ruthless predator? This is the chilling true story that unfolded within a seemingly perfect family, where the unwavering love and trust of a mother-in-law were exploited by the cold, calculated greed of her daughter-in-law. Discover how an elaborate web of lies, hidden behind an angelic smile, collapsed to reveal a devastating betrayal. This is the unbelievable yet sadly real account of a manipulation that almost led to disaster. Hello everyone. The story I am about to tell you is hard to believe, but it truly happened. I want to share the traumatic experience I went through when I discovered the true nature of the woman I believed to be the perfect daughter-in-law. She was indeed the ideal daughter-in-law. Every morning she would wake up early to prepare breakfast and always greeted me with a radiant smile. "Good morning, Mother. Did you sleep well?" I thought I was a truly blessed mother-in-law. I would proudly boast to my friends. My daughter-in-law is so different. Where else would you find such a daughter-in-law these days? Sujin remembered all my favorite dishes and cooked them for me. If I was sick, she would accompany me to the hospital and buy my medication from the pharmacy. The neighbors envied me. "Mrs. Kim, you are so lucky. Not all daughters-in-law are like that nowadays." I felt so proud every time I heard those words. I particularly remember the time I injured my back. Sujin took care of me with incredible devotion. She stayed by my side all day, massaged me, applied patches, and brought my meals to bed. I was so touched. I even told my son, "What good deed did I do in my past life to deserve such a daughter-in-law?" Sujin's smile was truly angelic, always bright and warm. No matter what I said, she would nod, replying, "Yes, Mother," never talking back or showing irritation. It was truly astonishing to have such a daughter-in-law. Young people today all have strong personalities and firm opinions, but Sujin embodied the traditional daughter-in-law. My son loved her very much too. He would tell me, "Mom, Sujin is a wonderful person, isn't she? I'm so grateful for how well she takes care of you." I was so happy during those times. My son was happy, I was happy, and Sujin seemed happy too. I thought we had a perfect family, but thinking back now, perhaps that smile was too perfect. It was more like acting than genuine emotion. I didn't know it at the time, but a terrifying plan was hidden behind that smile. It feels like Sujin intended to deceive me from the very beginning. Her appearance as a devoted daughter-in-law was nothing but a mask. She put on that mask every morning to play her role flawlessly. The first warning signs. The first strange signs appeared when Sujin started showing interest in the family's finances. At first, it seemed entirely natural. "Mother, where do you keep your bank books and important documents? If an emergency arose, I would need to be able to help you." I was touched by her thoughtfulness. A daughter-in-law who cares so much. I told her everything honestly. "Sujin, the bank books are in the drawer in the main bedroom, and the property titles and insurance papers are in the living room bookshelf. In case I suddenly fall ill, you might have to help me." After that, Sujin often brought up the subject of my health with a concerned look. "Mother, I'm really worried about your blood pressure medication. Shouldn't you get a thorough checkup in case it's a more serious illness?" I was grateful that she cared so much about me. But what was strange was that she started getting more and more specific. "Mother, if a serious illness were ever detected, the treatments would be expensive. It would be better to prepare in advance. Keep the house and land ready to be sold if necessary." At the time, I thought it was her thoughtfulness, but now it gives me chills. She even said, "Mother, there are many scammers these days. Just to be safe, should I keep your bank books and important documents somewhere safe for you? I worry about you being alone most of the time." At the time, I was grateful for the offer. My son, however, had a different reaction. "Mom, I think it would be better for you to keep managing your important documents yourself. Sujin's intentions are good, but you should handle your own affairs." I saw Sujin's face momentarily stiffen, but she quickly smiled and said, "Yes, that's right. Mother manages everything best." Even after that, Sujin kept bringing up the subject of family assets, very naturally, as if she were worried. "Mother, did you know that the rent for this house has increased a lot? Mother, the bank interest rate is so low, shouldn't you consider other investments?" At the time, I thought my daughter-in-law had a good business sense and wanted to help me. Looking back, that's when her true purpose began to show. What seemed like a small interest was actually a systematic attempt to assess the financial situation, laying the groundwork for a future major scam by gradually earning my trust. The staging of the lie. I discovered the real Sujin when she started lying. At first, they were small lies. Mother, I've had a stomach ache recently, so I went to the hospital. The doctor says it's stress-related gastritis. I was surprised. Sujin, when did you start feeling sick? Why didn't you tell me sooner? She put on a worried expression and said, I didn't want to worry you, Mother. It's nothing. I felt guilty. My daughter-in-law was sick and I didn't know it. After that, she started talking about increasingly severe symptoms. Mother, the hospital asked me to get a thorough checkup. They say it could be symptoms of stomach cancer. I was shocked. Stomach cancer for my daughter-in-law? I couldn't sleep that night. I said, Sujin, don't worry about the treatment costs. I'll pay for everything. Tears welled up in her eyes and she said, Thank you so much, Mother. But I'm worried the cost will be too high. My heart was broken. Such a good daughter-in-law sick. Sujin kept talking about hospital costs. Mother, the doctor says surgery is necessary, but the surgery costs more than expected. I have insurance, but the deductible is very high. I said, Don't worry. I'll take care of it. That's when Sujin seriously started talking about money. Mother, I need 30 million won just for the surgery, and it will cost more with chemotherapy. 30 million won is a large amount, but it was my daughter-in-law's life. I wouldn't hold back anything. I immediately went to the bank and broke my savings. I gave the money to Sujin, saying, Sujin, take this and get well. She cried and said, Thank you so much, Mother. I will never forget it. I was proud to be able to help my daughter-in-law, but something strange happened. The day Sujin said she was going to the hospital, I happened to see her near the house. She was coming out of a department store. At the time, I thought, oh, she's just doing a little shopping after the hospital. She has to live a little even when she's sick. A few days later, another strange thing happened. Sujin said, Mother, I had a chemotherapy session today. I'm so tired. But her face didn't look tired at all. On the contrary, she looked healthy. I had heard that chemotherapy usually leaves people exhausted and pale. Sujin continued to ask for more money. Mother, there's a new treatment, but it costs more. Mother, I need to buy supplements and special food. She asked for money with plausible excuses every time. I gave her everything, thinking it was for her well-being. The discovery doubt began to creep in because of a neighbor. I ran into Mrs. Park on the street and she asked me, Mrs. Kim, your daughter-in-law is often seen at the department store lately. Isn't she supposed to be getting treatment? My heart sank. Was Sujin actually shopping every time she said she was going to the hospital? That evening, Sujin said, Mother, I was at the hospital all day for tests. I'm really tired. But I couldn't believe her anymore. Her face didn't look exhausted, and she even seemed to be wearing new makeup. Just to be sure, I asked, Sujin, which hospital are you being treated at? She hesitated for a moment. Oh, Mother, a big hospital. Seoul National University Hospital. No, Samsung Hospital. Her answer was inconsistent. She had mentioned a different hospital name before. That's when I started thinking that something was really wrong. A few days later, something even stranger happened. I overheard Sujin talking on the phone in her room. Yeah, I got the money okay. My mother-in-law is really gullible. Just wait a little longer, we'll be able to get the house too. I got goosebumps all over. Did I mishear? I listened closely again, and that was clearly the content. But I still didn't want to believe it. I thought, there's no way my Sujin would do that. Maybe she was talking to someone else? Or maybe I misunderstood. My trust in Sujin was so deep. The next day, Sujin asked again, Mother, I need 50 million won more for my treatment. This time it will cost about 50 million won. 50 million won? I had already given 30 million, and now another 50 million. No matter the treatment costs, it seemed like too much. Sujin, isn't the money I gave you enough? Do hospital bills cost that much? When I asked her, she looked a little embarrassed. Oh, mother, the illness is more serious than expected. I need special treatment. Her voice trailed off and she wouldn't meet my eyes. That's when I truly started to suspect. Was Sujin deceiving me? Was that perfect daughter-in-law facade all a lie? But I still couldn't be certain. If she was truly sick and I suspected her, how hurt she would be. The truth explodes. I found the crucial evidence while cleaning Sujin's room. While she was briefly out, I went into the room to fold her laundry, and the desk drawer was slightly ajar. Normally, I would have just closed it, but this time, I felt compelled to look inside. What I saw shattered me. The drawer was filled with shopping receipts for luxury bags, Chanel perfume, Hermes scarves. She had bought all of this with the money I had given her, the money that was supposed to be for treatment costs. She had bought luxury goods with the money she received for her treatment. And the most shocking thing was the presence of fake medical certificates. Several clumsily made fake documents, supposedly for stomach cancer diagnoses, with a strange hospital stamp and a doctor's name that seemed to be fictitious. I felt all the strength leave my legs. My hands were trembling. I searched the drawer further. I found printed messages Sujin had exchanged with others. My mother-in-law is completely gullible. I didn't know it would be this easy. I need to slowly start stealing the house title. These were terrifying messages. More shockingly, Sujin had already secretly stolen and copied our house title, and had also forged documents using my stolen personal seal. I realized how long and systematically Sujin had been deceiving me. In that moment, the whole world seemed to collapse. The daughter-in-law I had trusted was only using me. Her warm smile, her devoted cooking, her concern for my health, it was all fake. I had been a fool, completely taken in. I couldn't confront her directly yet. I still had lingering doubts, and I didn't know what to do if it was true. So I took pictures of the evidence and put the drawer back as it was. I decided to discuss it with my son first. The confrontation and the consequence. That evening, after my son came home from work, I told him everything. At first, he couldn't believe it either. Mom, there's no way Sujin would do that. She takes such good care of you. But when I showed him the pictures, he was also shocked. Mom, is this really true? Sujin, actually. My son's face turned pale. It must have been hard for him to accept that the woman he loved was this kind of person. My son and I couldn't sleep a wink that night. It was my son who decided to reveal the truth. Mom, we can't let this go on. We have to stop Sujin before she causes more damage. He came up with a plan to expose everything at a family gathering. The following week happened to be Chuseok, Korean Thanksgiving, and his brother's family was scheduled to visit. My son explained the situation to his brother beforehand, who after seeing the evidence was furious. How could such a malicious person be brought into this family to deceive mother like this? On Chuseok Day, in front of the assembled family, my son called Sujin over. She greeted him with her usual bright smile. Yes, honey, what is it? She pretended to be completely unaware. Sujin, do you know what you bought with the treatment money you took from mother? My son asked calmly. Sujin's face instantly hardened, but she quickly tried to cover up. What are you talking about? The treatment money is at the hospital. That's when my son pulled out the luxury receipts and the fake medical certificates. Is this also for treatment? Is a Louis Vuitton bag necessary for healing? And what about this fake diagnosis? Sujin's face grew paler and paler. She must have known she couldn't argue anymore. And what's this? These are the messages you sent to your friends. Do you remember saying mother was a complete fool? My son's voice grew louder. Sujin's mask fell completely. She could no longer defend herself and slumped into a chair. And finally, she confessed the truth. I'm sorry. It was just a small lie at first, but it grew. But even her apology didn't sound sincere. It was only the regret of being caught. The entire family was in shock. My brother-in-law was particularly angry. We let a swindler into this family. How could you deceive mother like this? My sister-in-law also clicked her tongue. I never imagined this. How could she do such a thing? The moment felt completely silent. The truth about the daughter-in-law we had trusted and loved was exposed in front of everyone. Sujin could no longer display that perfect smile. The legacy of betrayal, after Sujin's mask was completely removed, more shocking truths emerged. Sujin had not only deceived me but also others. She had lied to her own mother to get money, and even tricked close friends into lending her money. My son said he would investigate further. Mom, this might not be the first time Sujin has committed this kind of fraud. A few days later, an even more astonishing fact was revealed. Sujin had done similar things before they got married. She had tricked her ex-boyfriend's mother in the exact same way, taking tens of millions of won. The neighbors all found out now. The women who used to envy me now looked at me with sympathy. Mrs. Kim, you've suffered so much. To be deceived by such a daughter-in-law. The envy turning into sympathy was truly heartbreaking. Sujin could no longer stay in our house. The family had turned their backs on her and the neighborhood knew everything. While packing her bags, she kept saying, I'm truly sorry, Mother. My feelings were genuine at first, but I couldn't even believe those words anymore. My son decided to divorce. Mom, I can't live with a person like this anymore. How can I call someone who tricked you, my wife? My son's heart must have been deeply hurt too, that the person he loved was this kind of person. On the day Sujin left our house for the last time, I watched her through the window. With her perfect smile completely gone, seeing her walking away with her luggage in a wretched state, I felt a mix of complex emotions. There was anger, but also a sense of pity. But even in that moment, Sujin hadn't changed. As she walked out, she lied one last time. Mother, I really did use some of the money for treatment, not all of it was a lie. Seeing her cling to her lies until the very end was chilling. And just like that, Sujin completely disappeared from our house. All the memories built over 5 years were exposed as lies overnight. The perfect daughter-in-law had never existed. Everything was an act. Everything was a plan. The lesson for a while, the story was the talk of the neighborhood. Mrs. Kim's daughter-in-law tricked her mother-in-law out of tens of millions of won. What a scary world, there are people like that. Every time I heard such words, I felt embarrassed and ashamed, that I was so easily fooled. Even after Sujin left, I couldn't escape the trauma. I couldn't sleep at night and kept reviewing everything that had happened. Where did I go wrong in my judgment? How could I have been fooled so perfectly? My son comforted me a lot. Mom, it's not your fault. Sujin was too cunning. Everyone saw her as the perfect daughter-in-law. But the emotional wound didn't heal easily. I never knew that trusting people could be so dangerous. A few months later, I heard news about Sujin. She had been caught by the police after attempting a similar fraud in another neighborhood. This time, she had tried to trick a lonely, elderly woman into stealing her house. She was truly a habitual offender. Hearing that news, I felt a sense of relief. If I had continued to be fooled, Sujin might have actually taken our house. At least we discovered it early and prevented greater harm. But the biggest wound wasn't losing the money. It was losing trust. Since then, I find it hard to trust people easily. When someone is kind to me, a suspicion first creeps in. Does this person have an ulterior motive? Living with this mindset has been really tough. My son finally got divorced. I saw Sujin one last time in court, and even then she was still making excuses. I was really sick. I had to do it because I needed money. She never admitted her fault until the very end. Sujin was sentenced to prison for fraud. She had many other victims besides me, yet she kept insisting, "It's unfair. I'm really a sick person." I was so frustrated. How could she be so shameless? It's been a year now, but thinking about that time still weighs heavily on my heart. But I realized one thing: a lie, no matter how perfect it seems, is eventually exposed. No matter how perfectly Sujin acted, the truth was bound to come out eventually. And I also learned that human greed has no end. Sujin started with a small lie, But her greed grew bigger and bigger, and she ended up losing everything. If she had been content with less, she might have stayed hidden longer, but her excessive greed ultimately destroyed her. I live alone now. My son visits often, but things aren't the same as before. He was hurt too. He is still struggling with the shock that the person he loved was that kind of person. When I tell him to meet new people, he says, "Mom, how can I trust anyone again?" But I've now resolved to be careful so that this doesn't happen again. No matter how kind and nice someone seems, if money is involved, I will be suspicious first. And most importantly, I will trust my gut feeling. I did have an uneasy feeling sometimes. If I had paid closer attention, then this might not have happened. You too, please be careful. Think carefully about money matters, even with people close to you. And be suspicious of people who seem too perfect. Truly perfect people don't exist in the world. If someone seems perfect, there's a high chance it's an act. I learned so much through this experience. The saying, "Trust but verify," is so true. And people blinded by greed like Sujin will ultimately suffer the greatest loss themselves. Looking out the window, I make a resolve once more. I will live with an ever-vigilant heart so that this never happens again, and I will cultivate the wisdom to distinguish between genuinely good people and those who only pretend to be good. I sincerely hope that none of you ever go through what I did. Lies do not last long. The greed hidden behind a smile will only bring about its own downfall. This is the most valuable lesson I have gained from this difficult experience. The story I shared with you today was truly shocking, but it is a realistic story that can happen in our lives. Please be cautious and make careful judgments regarding money matters, even with the people closest to you. And you need the wisdom to be suspicious of a person who seems too perfect. If today's story was helpful to you, please click the like button below. If you want to see more true stories like this, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Your small interest will be a great help in conveying these valuable lessons to more people. Please share your thoughts or similar experiences in the comments. By sharing our experiences, we can all become wiser. Please be careful not to mention personal information or specific details about individuals. I will return with more interesting and instructive true stories next time. Thank you for watching today. I wish you all good health and a life full of happiness.